देवाय ओम नमो
ओम नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय ओम
हाँ।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं
व्यासं
ततो
ततो
जयम्
जयमुदीरये।
उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्ठिकी।
नैष्ठिकी।
हरे कृष्ण. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam Canto second chapter third pure devotional service shloka number 23 22 and 23 Bharraite te nayane naranam
बर्हायिते ते नयने नराणां
lingani vishnoho na nirikshataye
लिंगानि विष्णोः न निरीक्षतः ये।
padau nrunam tau druma jalma bhajo
पादौ नॄणां तौ द्रुम जन्मभाजौ।
kshetrani na anuvrajata hare yo
क्षेत्राणि न अनुव्रजतो हरेयौ।
जीवन शव भागवतं रिरेणुम
जीवनश्रव भागवतम् अङ्घ्रिरेणुम्।
न जातु मर्त्य अभिलभेत यह तु
न जातुमर्त्य विलभेत यः तु।
श्री विष्णु पद्या मनुज तुलस्या
श्रीविष्णुपद्यामनुज तुलस्याः।
श्वसन श्वसन शव यह तु न वेद गंधम
श्वसनशवः यः तु न वेद गन्धम्।
बर्रायिते तेन नराणाम लिंगाणि विष्णो निरीक्षत ये पादौ नृणां तौ ध्रुव जन्म भाजौ क्षेत्राणि न अनुव्रजत हरे यौ जीवन शव भागवता अंग्रिरेणु न जातु मर्त्य अभिलभेत यतु श्री विष्णु पद्यामनुज तुलस्या श्वसन शव वेद गंधम बर्रायिते तेन नराणाम लिंगाणि विष्णो न निरीक्षत ये पादौ नृणां तौ द्रुमजल्म भाजौ क्षेत्राणि न अनुव्रजत हरे यौ जीवन शव भागवतं रेणु न जातु मर्त्य अभिलभेत यतु श्री विष्णु पद्यामनुज तुलस्या श्वसन शव यतु न वेद गंधम. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representation of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body, and the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulasī leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Purport, especially for the householder devotees, the path of deity worship is strongly recommended as far as possible. Every householder, by the direction of the spiritual master, must install the deity of Vishnu forms like Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa, Lakṣmī-Nārāyaṇa, or Sītā-Rāma, especially, or any other form of the Lord like Narasimha, Varaha, Gaura-Nitāi, Matsya, Kurma, Shalagram Shila, and many other forms of Vishnu like Trivikram, Keshav, Achyut, Vasudev, Narayan, and Damodar, as recommended in the Vaishnava tantras or Puranas, and one's family should worship strictly following the directions and regulations of Arcana Vidhi. Any member of the family who is about 12 years of age should be initiated by bona fide spiritual master, and all the members of the household should be engaged in the daily service of the Lord, beginning from morning 4 a.m. till night 10 p.m. by performing Mangal Artika, Niranjana, Archana, Puja, Kirtan, Shrungar, Bhoga, Vaikali, Sandhya, Aratika, Path, bhoga at night, Shrayana Artika, etc. Engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master will greatly help the householders to purify their very existence and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. Simple theoretical book knowledge is not sufficient for a neophyte devotee. A book knowledge is theoretical, whereas the archana process is practical. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge, and that is the guaranteed way for attainment of spiritual perfection. The training of devotional service for a neophyte duty completely depends on the expert spiritual master who knows how to lead his disciple to make gradual progress towards the path back to Godhead. One should not become a pseudo spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures. One must be an expert spiritual master to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has refined the bona fide qualities of a spiritual master, and one of the verses in that description reads Shri Vigraharadhana Nityanana Shungaratana Mandira Marjanado Yuktasya Bhaktanjani Anjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. Sri Vigraha is the archa or suitable worshipable form of the Lord, and the disciple should be engaged in worshipping the deity regularly by Shringar, by proper decoration and dressing, as also by Mandir Marjana, the matter of cleansing the temple. The spiritual master teaches the neophyte duty all this kindly and personally to help him gradually in the realization of the transcendental name, quality, form, etc. of the Lord. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attraction and rubbish sex songs broadcast every where by radios. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, he should go to another temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. Visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated form of the Lord, well dressed in a well decorated, sanctified temple, naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. People should visit holy places like Vrindavan, where such temples and worship of the deity are specifically maintained. Formerly, all rich men like king and rich merchants constructed such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord, like the six Goswamis, and it is the duty of the common man to take advantage of these temples and festivals observed in the holy places of pilgrimage by following in the footsteps of the great devotees Anuvraja. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind, but one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, be guided by proper men who know the science that is called Anuvraja. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instruction of bona fide spiritual master, even in visiting temples and the holy places of pilgrimage. One who does not move in that way is as good as a standing tree condemned by the Lord not to move. The moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such traveling tendencies could be fulfilled by visiting the holy places established by great acharyas, and thereby not being misled by the atheistic propaganda of money making men who have no knowledge of spiritual masters. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, he is called dead. Uh, but when he again appears in a subtle form not visible to our present vision and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost like non devotees who have no respect for the pure devotees nor for the Vishnu deity in the temple create a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offering by such impure ghosts. There is a common saying, that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure duty of the Lord. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee, and this condition is fulfilled by the statement reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, who has also served another pure devotee. uh, that is the way of your disciplic succession or devotional parampara. Rahugan inquired from the great saint Jadabharat as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of Paramahamsa, and in answer the great saint replied as follows. Bhagavatam 5.12.12. रहुगण रहुगण एतत् तपसा न याति न चे इज्जया निवर् निर्वपादा पाणात गृहात वा न च न च छन्दसा न एव जलग्नि सूर्यैः विना महत्पाद रज abhishekam. O King Rogan, the perfectional stage of devotional service or the Paramahamsa stage of life cannot be attained unless one is placed by the dust of the feet of the great devotee. It is never attained by tapasya, austerity, the Vedic worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penances in the hot sun within cold water or before the blazing fire. In other words, Lord Sri Krishna is the property of his pure, unconditioned devotees, and as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bhartu Kamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudasa, or the most obedient servant of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsel of Vrindavan at Vrindavan. A pure duty therefore never approaches the Lord directly but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servant, and thus the Lord become pleased. Only then can the devotees relish the taste of the tulsi leaves stuck to his lotus feet in the Brahma Samhita. It is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming great scholar of the Vedic literature, but he is very easy approachable through his pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is tender-hearted, feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees, and when she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is therefore that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly, and by once doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be received. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroho Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे वांछा कल्पतरुभे च कृपा सिंधुभे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. With continuing Srimad Bhagavatam Canto, second chapter, third pure devotional service, we try to understand shloka number 22 and 23. In this shloka, what they describe. Now we seeing from from 17 shlokas, different part of different things. What happened if he anyone not listening the message about the supreme personality, or not chanted, that is like the ear holes, like the holes of snakes, and tongue like the tongue of frog, or uh, 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 so many examples they are giving from shloka number 17 to 24. Here 22 shlokas they giving about the eyes and legs. If anyone's eyes not seeing the symbolic representation of the personality of Godhead, then their eyes like the uh, printed plumes on of the peacocks, printed on the uh, plumes of the peacocks. And if their legs do not move to the holy places, then they consider to be like the tree trunk. And in ahead shloka they describe about if anyone do not received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee, then that is he is like a dead body. And if anyone, any person who has never experienced the aroma of tulsi leaves or flowers from the lotus feet of the Lord, that is he is a dead body. Like they giving examples and they describe about the importance of different angas of the bhaktis, and how they are important in our life and how we apply that most important. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely, in simple way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So, Prabhupada ji, based on these shlokas, is highlighting few important aspects. First is importance of Archana, that is deity worship, especially for gṛhasthas. So, worshipping deity is very essential. You should install authorized forms, say Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa, Lakṣmī-Nārāyaṇa, Sītā-Rāma, even Gaura-Nitāi. And that should be under the guidance of a spiritual master. And then we should do regular worship, Mangal Arti, Kirtan, Oaks, Magra. So what this does is it purifies our existence and accelerates the spiritual progress. But there's a asterisk. We should strictly follow. That is how it has to be done. But then theory and practice is different. Theoretical knowledge is not sufficient. There has to be practical engagement. And that is when the Archana bridges the realization. The true spiritual advancement occurs when we combine Shastra and Seva. Practical process purifies. That is very important. But then all this has to be under the Guru. That is important role of spiritual master. The neophyte is guided with love, with personal example. Guru teaches how to cleanse the temple, the deity sing, scriptural studies. So decoration, serving the deities, and gradually we get the revelation of the Lord's transcendental qualities and forms. A genuine guru is never a professional, but one who truly guides a disciple back to God. And we should remember the importance is it also gives us protection from material influence. Absorption in DT service, it shields the mind from degraded entertainment and lust inducing media. Like today is a social media day, World Social Media Day. So engagement in temple activities redirects our sensory tendencies to spiritual purposes. One more important point which comes up is even if we cannot maintain temple at home, regularly visiting temples where such worship is performed is highly recommended. So pilgrimage and temple visits both are important. Humans have a natural tendency to travel. That should be redirected towards visiting holy places like Vrindavan, Tirupati, Mayapur, where Lord's pastimes are remembered and deity worship is maintained. Especially Vrindavan, it rejuvenates spiritual vision. Now, when we visit, sightseeing is condemned. We must be anuvrajaha, follow the footsteps of the acharyas. And then Prabhupada also explains the analogy as is there in the shloka about misused eyes and legs. Not seeing the deity is like having blind, painted eyes. And not visiting holy places is like being a tree, lifeless, stationary, despite a human form. The senses, human mobility, they should serve spiritual purpose, not mundane sightseeing or materialistic pursuits. And that is where we need to be careful about the living ghosts among us, non devotees, disrespectful of pure devotees and deities. They are all called ghost like, creating fear and disharmony. The Lord rejects offerings made by such impure persons. The access to Krishna is only through devotees. Bhakti begins with serving a pure devotee who himself has served another pure devotee. This is the Guru Parampara system. Jad Bharat or King Rahugan both have given us the same example. So liberation is impossible without the dust of a great devotee's feet. Lord Chaitanya's example is there for all of us. He called himself the servant of the gopis, Lord. Dasa Dasa Anu Dasa, setting the perfect mode of humility. And Prabhupada also highlights the importance of Radha's mercy, which is gateway to Krishna. Srimati Radharani's favor delivers a soul to Krishna. Her mercy is more accessible than Krishna. All Vrindavan devotees pray for her blessings before approaching the Lord. Lust is the heart's disease. Kamam Hridarogam. Thus destroys all virtues, intelligence, patience, truthfulness. And the only cure is an alloyed devotional service which is free from anya bhilash, material desires. Pure devotion is a positive engagement. Mayavadi Sikh Vaidism or impersonalism or even monism. Devotees seek active service. Desirelessness does not mean inactivity. What it means is pure spiritual longing for Krishna's service. As we see, Prabhupada ji, when he was talking about this in Los Angeles, he gives this clarity towards the end very nicely about what is bhakti. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam, dhyana karmadi anavrutam. So he says that it is very important that we don't strive for any kind of designation of any kind because any of the designations are going to give us bondages, and that is something which has to be avoided at all costs. And then tatparatvena nirmalam. So very clearly it is mentioned that you should be very, very gentle. That is pure bhakti. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. We should be serving Krishna with all the senses. And that is bhakti ruchyate. So engaging all senses in service to Krishna purifies the identity and existence. So these two shlokas indirectly are trying to tell us, please wake up. Don't be dead persons or don't be dead personalities. It is very important that we start living. So what it means is we should be serving Krishna. We should take the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. We should smell the tulsi leaves which are offered to the lotus feet of the Krishna. It is the essence of breathing. It is the use of the nose. So real life begins with devotion. Eyes, if they are not beholding Krishna, they are blind. Feet, if they are not carrying us to temples, they are dead. Nose, if it is not smelling the tulsi leaves, you are dead. The path to Krishna starts not by scholarship or austerity. It starts through service to pure devotee, pleasing the heart through dedicated devotional service. And that is why we need to be in association of the devotees. Keep chanting, keep reading, taking only Krishna Prasadam, serving the deities, and engaging in any kind of a service to Krishna. Thank you very much.